Hi guys, so as well as playing Warhammer 40k Kill Teams, I used to love playing Dungeons and Dragons. So it's been a bit of a while since I last played, but yeah, absolutely love this game. Started playing, well, originally back in the 80s, then had quite a big break, and then started playing, well, a few years ago. And obviously I love all the different dice. Yeah, I can't get enough of them. I've got loads more in drawers and bits. And here was my main character, a nice little dwarf druid. As well, I like doing spells and stuff. And I've got a nice mega-sized dice for, well, when you need that extra bit of luck. So I'm looking at getting back into D&D, but I want to play the game with my children. And because they're still a bit young, yeah, I've seen this. Heroquest, which is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but a simplified version. So I know this has been out for a while. Well, the original one came out in '89, and then it had a bit of a reprisal and came out a few years ago, which is obviously this box set. So yeah, guys, I know this isn't new, but obviously, well, it's new to me. And yeah, it's just going to be a great way of, well, getting back into playing Dungeons and Dragons and obviously playing the game with my children, which would be awesome. So absolutely love the front cover here. Nice big old barbarian and a couple of obviously other sort of heroes behind them. And the great thing with this big box set is, well, it comes with everything you need to, well, start playing the game, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, lots of figures here. There's some heroes and enemies and bosses and all the rest, which is pretty cool. Yeah, not quite the grey plastic, we've got coloured plastic here, but this does all definitely need to be painted to, yeah, good old tabletop standard and a bit nicer to play with than just, well, these sort of greens, greys, whites and red sort of miniatures. So I bought this from my local game shop, Chaos Cards. There's a link down below, guys, go and check them out. Great prices, do a full range of toys, miniatures, gaming cards, all kinds of stuff. And I've got a discount code down below you can use to get 5% off when you do buy miniatures. So as I say, yeah, this box set really does come with everything. It's even got sort of the furniture, doorways, the cards, spell cards, yeah, everything you need, which is just great. So as well as all the recent Warhammer stuff you've been seeing, you are going to be seeing some D&D related stuff coming up. Obviously mainly miniatures, but I'm going to be doing some larger sort of terrain pieces. As well, I want to have a go at making my own sort of, well, full-on dungeon. So say this thing comes with everything you need. Good old Games Master screens, rule books, which is obviously quite handy. But as you can see, it's a nice thin rule book, which is why this would be great to play with the kids because, yeah, definitely a more simplified version than the full sort of D&D game, which, yeah, which I can't wait to play. And the other great thing I've seen with Heroquest, obviously this one does come with, well, the sort of first quest book to get yourself playing, but you can buy lots of add-ons for this, which is pretty cool. So I may well be looking into those as well. And as I say, yeah, there's all kinds of bits and pieces here, little tokens here. At the moment, I'm not too sure what they're for, but obviously I'm going to read the rule book to find out. And a nice big sort of playing mat. So this is the thing that I'm going to have a go at making, well, in 3D. So it won't necessarily be just like this. As I say, I want to get back into playing Dungeons and Dragons, so I want to make a board up that I can use for Heroquest, as well as any sort of like one-shots that I may want to play, yeah, with the full D&D. But obviously this video is mainly concerned with the miniatures, so yeah, lovely little figures, lots of detail in there, yeah, not sort of any really visible mould lines or any of that kind of stuff, which is cool. And I say, obviously these are going to be my favourite characters, the good old sort of barbarian there and the dwarf. There's obviously a little elf and I guess a magic user is the other one. Not too sure. Yeah, these figures are nice, but I do obviously have a preference for the other ones. And what I may well do in the future is find some other sort of characters that I can 3D print and use them instead. You would have seen me use these miniature holders in the previous video, and I got these from Red Grass Games. So yeah, link down below, guys. As always, there's always links down below to everything you kind of see in the videos, just because, well, some of you guys want to find out where I get things from. So I'm going to do the bases. I'm going to keep them very simple. Obviously, ideally, I would rather have these on nice clear bases. But yeah, there's no way I can take these off the current ones. But that's another reason why I am looking forward to, well, getting my own sort of miniatures again and 3D printing them, painting them up and sticking them on nice clear bases. So these ones, I'm just going to put a little bit of sand at the bottom just so there's a bit of texture to it. I'm not going to go over the top doing sort of grass effects or little boulders or anything. It purely is going to be, yeah, a little bit of sand, just so say there is a bit of a texture to the base. And keeping the bases nice and simple meant, yeah, I was straight on to painting them. So I primed them in good old matte black, and now I'm going to do a bit of white dry brushing. So I recently got hold of some paints from TT Combat. Again, link down below, guys. So in this one, you're only going to see me using the white, as also I'm going to be using Speedpaint primarily in this video. But I will be doing a video soon where I'm going to do the old comic book style painting again. And yeah, I'm going to be trying out all the TT Combat Ranger paints that I've got for that. And as you can see, rather than using my textured dry brush palette, I'm just using the glass palette that again I got from Red Grass Games to do some dry brushing with that. Again, it's all about trying different things. I've obviously used the textured dry brush palette, I've used bits of wood, I've used tissue paper, and yeah, now I'm just going to give this little sheet of glass a go because, well, I love using it. It's nice and light, it's simple, it doesn't take up a lot of room, and yeah, I can use it for a variety of things. So as you see, yeah, just the usual dry brushing white all over. Try and get in, well, not quite the nooks and crannies because they're the bits you want to keep dark, but yeah, hitting all the raised areas. And again, this is where you can always tell just how good miniatures are because this definitely brings up lots of definition in them. And yeah, it just shows how well they've been sculpted. So I'm going to be batch painting with the heroes here, which is why I've got all 4 of them all ready to sort of paint up. And this obviously makes things a lot quicker because you get your paints out and then you do whatever colour paint it is to one and then do it to the next one and the next one and so on. So yeah, it saves a bit of time and saves on wasted paint. So as you can see, yeah, good old speed paints, these are the ones I'm going to go for. I'm going to start off with Peachy Flesh. As I say, obviously I'll be using this on, well, all of them because they've all got normal looking skin. So again, yeah, using this this nice glass palette to well, put the paint on. And yeah, I just love using it for all sorts really. As I do want to get all the miniatures painted so I can say play this game with nice looking figures, yeah, I'm going to be painting all the figures in, well, a variety of videos coming up. So I might do like all the skeletons together and then some of the other mobs together and then maybe some bosses. So yeah, keep an eye out for those guys. And if there is anything D&D related you want to see me do, yeah, leave them in the comments below as well. As I say, I'm going to be getting back into it, so I want to make up some, yeah, definitely dungeon tiles to make a board up with, as well as doing some sort of D&D dioramas. I'm also hoping to get some new D&D dice soon, and when I do, yeah, I'll be showing them off as well. So I've done the skin on all of them, but it is quite dark, and yeah, maybe a bit too dark for what I like. I don't mind a lot of stuff being sort of grim dark style, but I think for their skin, yeah, it doesn't need to be quite this dark. So as you can see, I'm going over it with some barbarian flesh, and this is from the War Paints Air range. So basically these paints are meant for obviously the airbrush, which means they're nice and sort of not watered down but thinned down, and yeah, they go on really well. And say because they are thinned down, yeah, you can like build up the colours. So if you don't want too much, yeah, one little thin layer will do you. Spread it out, but obviously you want to make it lighter, yeah, you just keep applying more and more layers, which is really cool. So that's the barbarian skin done, and now, yeah, to pop him off the little paint holder and pop the next one on. So this really is a great holder, as yeah, it's nice and comfortable to use, and as you can see there, you can spin the miniature around, which is really cool, even though I kind of forget that I can do that, and as you'll see, I do move the whole painting holder. I will get used to it, and I will remember that I can just hold it in my hand and spin whatever it is around that I want to paint, which is, yeah, pretty awesome. If any of you guys play Heroquest, let me know in the comments, yeah, what you think about it. I say I've had a quick skip through the old rulebook. Obviously it is nice and small, so it doesn't take too long. As I say, it's definitely a sort of simplified version of D&D, which is really nice. As obviously a great way of getting into playing D&D, and definitely say with my kids, yeah, this will be much more easy to explain to them, and probably a nicer, faster sort of gameplay, which would be pretty cool. The only downside really is you can still use a D6, whereas obviously my favourite dice, yeah, got to be a good old D20, and well, all the others, which is, yeah, fun to roll different dice. As you guys seem to like the longer videos where I show, well, all the paints that I use, and you can see the full process of me painting miniatures, yeah, I'm going to do the same here, guys. So everything I'm going to paint on these guys, you'll be able to see me show, and just so if you want to use the same sort of paints, you can. So as always, yeah, the good old metallic paints from Army Painter, I say this every time, they go on really, really nice. Great coverage, but they don't really have the sort of like wow factor of, well, all the other speed paints. As in, they don't really sort of like pull too much in the nooks and crannies, and yeah, you don't get too many variations of the paint. But as I say, it goes on really well, and I'll do what I normally do, and that's at the very end, I'll throw a wash over any of the metallic stuff that I've done. What is a bit of a shame though is all the previous sort of D&D miniatures that I had, and some of the terrain pieces I'd previously made. Yeah, I had a bit of a good old clean out, good 6 months or so ago, and threw a lot of stuff away. This is what I say, guys. I know I say this again all the time, but yeah, I don't have a lot of space to put stuff. So yeah, quite often I will have a bit of a cull, and yeah, things get binned. But that's obviously why a lot of my stuff as well is on eBay. So if you want to sort of like buy anything that I have previously made, played with, used, or even some of the dioramas that I've made, yeah, go and check out my eBay. Again, link down below. And yeah, see if there's anything you fancy bidding on. As sometimes I put stuff on there, sometimes it just sits in a drawer for a year, and then say, yeah, depending on the size of it, it may or may not go in the bin. So yes, I'm going to print out, which is such a shame obviously, loads more D&D figures, miniatures and all the best of it, and yeah, get them painted in the same manner that I'm doing, obviously, as you can see here. So out of these 4 heroes that I'm painting, yeah, it's definitely this barbarian dude that is my favourite. As always, I do love miniatures with lots of muscles, which is kind of why I do love orcs, because they're always muscly guys. So yeah, so this guy is definitely my favourite, and then the dwarf. But as I say, I do love or prefer playing with miniatures that have clear bases, just so I can see whatever terrain is underneath them, which is yeah, pretty cool. So I will be printing out, yeah, loads more of these kind of miniatures to use with the Heroquest, and with yeah, full-on D&D. And I certainly can't wait to get back into playing it. So especially being able to play the game with my kids as well, because they love playing board games. As much as obviously they're normally on their Xboxes, yeah, they will come off to play board games, which is pretty cool. So the Army Painter Speedpaint certainly are working well on these miniatures, and yeah, say it makes things so much quicker, goes on perfectly. But then you can, like you saw with me doing with the skin, if you want to sort of like add more highlights or do anything else to them, yeah, you certainly can. Speed paints are just certainly a great sort of start to getting things painted. But as well as being a start, yeah, you can just do speed paints and leave it there, which is what I sometimes do with a lot of my miniatures. So obviously I know 4 heroes came in this sort of big initial box set. But yeah, any of you guys that have played the game and brought any of the add-ons and additions and that, can you get any extra or other sort of heroes to play with? Or is it purely just these 4 that always go through? Not that I mind that, because they do seem to have a good variety here. I say, good old barbarian. Lady in the background looks like she could be like a kind of a paladin, because she's got some armour on but clearly doing spells. Got a good old dwarf with his big chopper, because well, every party needs a dwarf with a big chopper. And there's obviously like a human wizard back there as well. So they've kind of got most of the types that you'd play with, yeah, certainly covered, which is pretty cool. But what I might do when playing with my children with this game, yeah, is take some of the other classes from D&D and just sort of simplify them, just give them a few sort of spells here and there, work out their their sort of hit points, armor class to hit, all those other kind of bits and pieces, and yeah, kind of go from there. So yeah, as you can see, yeah, this little glass palette, yeah, I love using it. Obviously, yeah, the paints do dry out, but then, well, anything you put the paints in, yeah, they are going to start drying out and evaporating and all the rest of it. But yeah, say for me, my small desk, having the little glass palette is pretty cool, because yeah, I can do dry brushing on it, I can have me speed paints on it. Yeah, you can use normal paints on it. Obviously, using the wet palette is better for, well, blending paints together and obviously thinning them out a bit. So that's the barbarian pretty much finished now. I say obviously I'll be doing whatever colour on him on all the others as well. But apart from the base and putting a wash over his sort of metallic-y bits, yeah, he's done. So yeah, moving on to, well, the other ones that have different colours to what the barbarian had. So the colour scheme, I'm pretty much trying to do these guys, yeah, the same as they are on the box. Although that being said, I am doing an exception here. This little dwarf dude, rather than having like a dark brown hair, I think, yeah, he needs to go with a fiery orange, just to suit his fiery fighting sort of ways. Say, because this chopper he's got is, well, it's pretty much the same size as him, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, he's definitely going to be my second favourite miniature here. Again, lots of definition on him, but yeah, I love dwarfs. Probably I love dwarfs just as much as I love orcs. Yeah, definitely a close second there, I would say. As it has been quite a while since I've 3D printed any sort of D&D sort of style miniatures, yeah guys, if there's any sort of people you follow or download, or yeah, any STL files or companies or whatever you sort of follow to do with D&D, yeah, let me know. As well, I'm going to have a good old look. Say my usual places to look for My Mini Factory or good old Thingiverse. Thingiverse isn't too bad, but yeah, it's generally obviously because they are free. A lot of the sculpts don't necessarily have the same sort of definition as the pro sort of model makers over at my mini factory. So yeah, let me know if there's anyone you sort of follow and download stuff from, as yeah, I'll go and have a little look at, well, whatever it is they do. So I have already used the gold, but there's a few areas I kind of, well, missed out or didn't know I was going to do them in gold. And as you can see, this little, well, it's kind of like little belt he's got going around him. He's got these little sort of bits on there. And yeah, I'm sure they're not little backpack bits, so these can be sort of golden too. So the wizard dude has a kind of like a yellow cloak on him. This is one of the colours that, yeah, I always seem to have problems with, or getting a nice sort of yellow. As you can see, I have painted some of the lids in the speed paints just to sort of see exactly how they come out. There was a video out there, guys, where I did that, because literally I went through all the speed paint lids and slap chopped them. So primed them in black, dry brushed in good old white, and then painted them just so I could see exactly how it was going to sort of come out. And this is definitely another one of these ones where I really want like a nice bright yellow, but this, yeah, it's quite dark. Obviously there's a lot of dark areas underneath, which is, well, obviously why it's coming out dark. So I'm going to go back to that dude once it's all dried, and I'm going to go over it again with the old air paints, just to sort of touch it up and make it a little bit brighter, which will look pretty cool. So yeah, speed paints, I do, again, I think that's always sort of say, but I do love the fact that there are so many varieties of colours. Yeah, they've certainly got you covered in whatever kind of colour you think you might want to use. I'm sure there'll be one, yeah, ready and waiting to slap on. So now that yellow has sort of dried, as you can see, yeah, it's not too bad, but definitely quite dark. So I'm just going to go over it with this yellow imp. Again, these are the air sort of colours by Army Painter. Yeah, normally used, I guess, in your spray guns, air guns, whatever they're called. But yeah, you can paint them on as well, which is kind of like what I do quite a lot of, really. Just because they are thinned down and yeah, ready to go straight from the pot, which is just awesome. And that's them all pretty much done. It is just a case of now going round and putting a wash over, say, all the metallic sort of areas, just to give them a bit more, well, a bit more sort of shading, and yeah, make them not look as neat and tidy as they, well, as they kind of are. And yeah, that's them pretty much done. So with the base, say, left it kind of simple, as I want it to be like a grey floory kind of base. And yeah, there's the first of my miniatures from Heroquest, all done, all painted, and ready to yeah, ready to get a game in. So as much as I do like the look of these figures, I will definitely be printing off, yeah, my own ones to use, say, in Heroquest and playing D&D adventures. Yeah, say more so because of the clear bases, and again because the wizards here I'm not fussed on. But these Barbarian and Dwarf, yeah, absolutely love them. So guys, let me know which of the miniatures from the Heroquest box you think I should paint next. I'm probably going to do like several videos, just sort of grouping some of the mobs in there together. But yeah, let me know down below what you'd like to see me paint next. Okay guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments down below. There's another video on the screen as well. Give that a click, see more of what I do. And a big shout out and thank you to all my lovely patrons, as well as my monthly sponsors that can continue to sort of fund me to, well, keep having fun, making these videos, trying out different painting techniques, and, well, buying more and more board games. Okay guys, you take care, see you in the next one, bye for now.